U.S. government has said it is keenly monitoring the Edo State Governorship Tribunal. Independent observers and civil society organizations noted that the poll was marred by multiple arithmetic errors, about 29,053 unaccounted ballots and other inconsistencies. The U.S. mission in Nigeria on Friday said the coalition process of the polls that pronounced the All Progressive Congress Monday Ogbebilo as winner was flawed with serious lapses, noting that the foreign mission, a supporter of fair and credible elections, was closely monitoring the situation. On Wednesday, Justice Wilfred Bochi, chairman of a three-man panel at the Edo State Petitions Tribunal, upheld the election victory of Mr. Ogbebilo and dismissed the allegations of his main challenger, Edo Guber of the People's Democratic Party, ruling that he failed to satisfactorily substantiate claims of overvoting and irregularities. But the U.S. mission on Friday implicitly rejected the tribunal's verdict in a post on X, citing a report by civil society organization, Impact Development Initiative, which found that the Edo State polls were riddled with inconsistencies, particularly a mismatch between a total number of accredited voters and total votes cast. One of the most striking findings of this study was the persistent mismatch in the number of registered voters across multiple polling units. In Edo State, inconsistencies were found in 141 polling units, stated a ballot integrity project report by Impact Initiative, referenced by the U.S. mission. Other concerns raised in the report include unaccounted ballots going up to 29,053 and overvoting in at least 382 polling units. The report added, Edo State had overvoting in 383 polling units with a total of 8,887 excess votes. Mr. Edo Guber of the PDP already vowed to appeal the tribunal ruling to re-examine his claims that the polls were rigged to favor Mr. Ogbebilo, who has since been sworn in as governor. The American government said it was laser focused on the unfolding situation, adding that the U.S. ambassador to Nigeria, Richard Mills, strongly advocated transparency in electoral matters to boost public confidence in the judiciary and other key government agencies. The foreign government imposed U.S. visa restrictions as a means of punishing justices and politicians deemed to have undermined Nigeria's democracy. Recall that the U.S. government was believed to have denied Chief Justice of Nigeria, Kudirat Kekereekun, a visa to the U.S. over a 2020 controversial judgment that sacked Emeki Hedioha and declared APC's Hope Uzodinma the winner of Imo State governorship election. Asings, what is your take on this matter?
Well, first of all, I was trying to fact check the U.S. mission statement, how credible and true it is, but I was not able to get any link. But I saw it on online newspapers that this is what happened. Well, Nigeria is a sovereign state. I do not know, I have never heard that where the U.S. government will meddle in another sovereign state's electoral process. By way of observers, yes, a lot of monitoring has been done, not just in the Edo election, national election that took place. Many observers came, but what has been the outcome? What has been the outcome of observing elections in Nigeria? It's quite different from what happens. Two, is that election and the grammar they spoken there does not even conform if the Electoral Act is deaf to some of these things they are insinuating here. Now, if you permit me, let me just reel out, what the court said. So I have to use my phone. So now, if you look at what that particular, a lot of people don't know, they just come in there and read newspapers and look at it. The PDP, presented 19 witnesses. You have 19 witnesses that they brought and tendered 153 bimodal voter approvals, as they call it. They tendered, these are they tendered 153, machines from 133 polling units as evidence. They argued that results were tampered with at collation centers, allegedly inflating APC's votes, which is the discrepancy they were trying to talk about there. But they did not provide enough hard evidence by virtue of the Electoral Act. The tribunal said that when you bring, and what the Electoral Act and the procedure of election says, that if you bring those 153 beavers, you have to open them one after the other and demonstrate and show where the discrepancy arises. Now, if you line 153 beavers machines here, it's going to occupy the whole of this table. And I don't know how you are going to be analyzing them one after the other. It's going to take you 1 year for you to analyze, cross-examine, lead examination. You understand the point now? In a day. So they couldn't do that. And the Electoral Act, if you go to that section 134, 135 to 138, it talks about what you have to prove before the election tribunal. It's not just you going there to say election was rigged and you have the facts as the case may be. The tribunal even went further to say that even if they accepted that there was discrepancies in votes that were inflated, what the law says is that if you can prove that votes were inflated in favor of a political party, you show it that 100,000 ballots were added to their main whatever. Tribunal said if you would deduct the claim of 180-something thousand votes or thereabout that were deducted, that Okpebolo will still become the winner. Assuming you subtract what you are claiming, that this was the votes that were inflated, that if you deduct it from Okpebolo's votes and pari passu with your own, that Okpebolo will still be the leader and in the majority. You understand? That was how they gave their judgment. Now, they now went to a PDP now came. See, some of these parties will be blaming their lawyers. There are many lawyers who are my colleagues who mislead candidates. There are many lawyers, senior lawyers for that matter, in Nigeria today, even as rotten as the judiciary, is the same thing that some lawyers are very rotten when it comes to issue of getting monies. They will advise their candidate wrongly. When they collect the money, they will not perform the duties. For you to obtain an election in Nigeria today, the head of the elephant, not even the camel, is easier for the head of the elephant to pass through the eye of the needle than for you to obtain an election that has been declared, or anybody that has been declared as a winner. And to even make it difficult for you, section 138 of the Electoral Act says that even if Okpebolo were not to be the winner, he still remains the governor of Edo State until the matter gets to Supreme Court. And you find that most times the man must have done 2-3 years in power before the matter will now go to Supreme Court, who will now decide otherwise that the election was rigged. So it's a very Herculean task for a petitioner to prove this. The other one is this. Section 134 says that if you say the election was rigged or manipulated, that you must prove beyond reasonable doubt that this particular manipulation favored the other party and gave you a disadvantage for you to lose that particular election. It is very difficult to prove that, because of the 19 witnesses that Okpebolo brought, the tribunal could not even take up to 10 because of time. You know, the tribunal works with time. The judges write in long hands. So by the time you are cross-examining one, re-examining one, leading one in evidence, etc., is 4 o'clock already, and they now say court has closed, they are going back home. So if you have 19 they will cross-examine, He will not let the evidence etc. Talk less of 153 beavers, machines. So these are the things. This is what caused, the problems that we are having. They might have a very genuine case, as in this case, a lot of people have seen that there was manipulation in the election or in Edo State there. But go there and prove it now is where the problem is. It's very difficult. And the tribunal said they are not Father Christmas. They are not the ones to come and open the beavers and begin to show technically how the beavers operate, how each beaver is recorded, and that you must give evidence in all the polling units in Edo State. Not just getting evidence from a particular local government area, that all the states you must go to unit by unit. If you want to follow unit by unit proof of result in election, it's going to take you 1 year for you to prove that. And when it take you 1 year, another 1 year to give judgment, it now becomes a problem. So I don't know what this UN or US mission, what they can do. Assuming the court of appeal now affirm before they go, or they go to Supreme Court and it's not affirmed, are they going to place sanction on the governor from coming to Edo State for he will tell you he never participated, he is not INEC as case may be. So for me, these are just is mere academic pursuit. Academic pursuit, that is the best I can say here. So
to a large extent, what you're saying is that it will be difficult for the PDP to prove
it is difficult.
Any form of electoral malpractice.
A lot of them. They couldn't prove it. The ones they brought so far, 153 beavers that they brought, they could not even open anyone. They always say these are the beavers used for the election, and these particular beavers, were compromised. Oh yeah, you have to prove it to court, because this is in only in Nigeria that you see that in situations of this nature that the petitioner has to prove beyond reasonable doubt, whereas it is INEC that should prove beyond reasonable doubt that they conducted a free, credible and fair election. But the reverse is the case. The law and the act is not asking me to prove that INEC did not do their job very well, and that job is very difficult. And when you are fighting INEC has the records. So it is the INEC you are fighting that you are going to get the register from. They can even delay your register and not giving those registers to you. They can even delay releasing the beavers to you, beavers machines to you, because you are using their materials against them. And in Nigerian context, what happens is that when they are fighting me and I have the secret on how to deal with you, I will never allow you to win me in that particular case. So it's a difficult one. Very difficult. Section 134, substantial proof is really difficult. When it says substantial, that it substantially affected the election in Edo State. That's a Herculean task.
Alright, so to a large extent, the Edo Guber Tribunal, the case against Obebelo by the PDP was struck out because of their inability to prove.
They can't prove. That is just what.
And that is it. We also have the factor of time constraints.
Yes.
The Guber Tribunal had limited time to even properly investigate into
yes, because you must prove unit by unit, polling unit by unit. You must prove it to show before they can cancel and say go and do a rerun.
Right,
so it's difficult.